Well, if you're looking for something entertaining to do around the end of May, if you're not going to be stuck in a cabin somewhere, you can always go to Phoenix Fan Fusion because you are going to find a collection of artful liars there. That would be us, the hosts of the ever so popular Disinformed podcast. We are going to be presenting 4 panels over the course of Friday and Saturday, and that would be May 27th and 28th. So come check us out. We're going to do a lot of Stephen King talk, and we're going to whip in a live episode. So come check us out again, May 27th and 28th at Phoenix Fan Fusion.
Y'all want to hear our first, or our most recent review? I was going to say first, but I realized that's not true.
Yeah, it's not, because we have many now. Devoted fans.
Yeah. Well, here's a new one for you. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Ramen.
Well, firstly, fuckwit, there ain't no God, so we'll just start there.
That's very true.
Get him!
And secondarily, I'm... Thank you, well, fuck you, bye.
That got edited out.
He said 60%, Shane.
I'm sorry. I'm like a semi-truck. Once I get started, I can't slow down. You need to have a large pit of rocks for me to officially end momentum into, and that was not it.
John's face as it just goes off the road and up into the gore zone.
Yep. So...
Ghoulish overkill.
I did ask for 60% of Shane, so Michael, I'm going to leave it to you to deliver 60% of that message.
See? It's perfect.
I can't wait to quit this job.
Plus, I mean...
God damn!
That is the worst thing you ever said!
I don't even know that's true. I just felt like saying it.
Are we just going to have a purely edited show?
Yeah, we're going to edit all this.
Apparently. I'm just trying to make sure I get the mood back up in here. So, you know, we're all feeling frisky and
you really know when to
ready
throw
to
out
run.
an epitaph.
Indeed.
I'm not worried about it. I think this episode will get you guys
I swear I cannot
misbehaving.
Hear. Again, I don't know why I have to keep saying this.
It's a milk episode all over again.
But I can't hear anymore about animals getting it on with humans or humans getting it on with animals. I don't have the emotionals.
Hey! I mean, my mom can, so it's fine.
Well, you and me, baby. We're nothing but mammals.
My mother, in a delightful moment last night, attempted to explain to me what furries are.
And did you say that
you're also, if you need that you're illustrated as well, there's an episode, just a few downloads back there that you can all catch up. And speaking of catch up, by the eternal...
Behold.
Behold. It's the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
Trying to catch up to the intro is what I'm saying there, friends. If you're following, if you're hep to the lingo. Yes. But if you're not hep to the lingo, allow me to illuminate this for you. What we typically do on this show is we delve into random esoteric nonsense, like insulting our audience. And in the course of explaining these strange things, we like to leaven in the occasional lie because, why not? We're, adults. Idiots and dullards on this podcast, apparently, so we don't want to have anything coherent. But the point of the show is then for the co-hosts to ferret out the fact from the fiction. That's the fun. It's like a game show where no one wins. And that, folks, is perfect in the United States.
That's very apt.
It's what we like.
Indeed. So this evening, Courtney is the one in the barrel, as is all too often the case, unfortunately. So what are we talking about today, friend?
So it's really funny that we're going to have to bleep the first good chunk of the episode.
Like 18
because
minutes of the episode? Yeah.
Literally, my first line that I wrote for this episode was, I hope Michael has a good bleep ready. So this is perfect.
If you don't have one, Michael, I'd be happy to provide one free of charge.
Oh, no, I like making them as I go along.
You fucking
well,
nerd.
Bleep me, Daddy.
Oh, I will.
I was actually going back and listening to the Black-Eyed Children episode, just, to celebrate the creepypastas. And, there was at least an 18 to 20 second interval in that episode where Michael had to run my audio backward to correct a similar issue. And then that was followed immediately by another 10 to 12 second backward run as well. So this happens.
You know how you have the Shane Hunt Award and you still have a couple of those stickers around? I feel like when you finally do run out of those stickers, or we could probably look into it now as some merch, we could get you like the most censored award. Like get you a little badge of honor, or like instead of world's #1 boss, like world's most censored co-host. And like,
I think I really should. We should instead pivot and give Michael the most artful editing award, or the Michael Clark Award, for the ability to most adeptly edit someone else's epithets.
And hey,
so really, oh, go ahead, John.
Oh, I was gonna say this is also a good reminder to the audience that if you come see us at Fan Fusion, it has been marked as an adult event, right? So it's like not for kids.
So again,
I can show my titties.
Yeah, you can take your shirt off. That's fine. But if there are children present, though, we will get a stern talking to.
Uh-oh.
So.
Well,
Michael?
I would hardly take a child talking to me seriously with much, of anything. I don't think a child trying to corner me after our panel be like, "Yo, use bad words." I don't think I'd care about that.
He'd
Well,
probably
also
just punch him in the face.
Well,
Shut
no,
up,
if that kid was approaching John, it would also be me sneaking up behind them going, "Do you think this rag smells like chloroform?"
Oh, no.
You got the De Niro face on that one.
Indeed. It'll be a good time. I know how to dispose of bodies.
Yeah, we learned from Marty Janaid.
I heard you paint houses.
Janaid. Janaid. Say it one more time, Michael. Let me really hear the music in it.
It's Marty Janaid, eh?
Okay. Courtney,
Oh, no.
this is going to be rough.
If only I didn't speak the third most Italian.
Also, I think we should call the award for Michael's editing the Cucked by Michael Award, because Shane's voice gets cucked by Michael.
I like that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
You contrarian.
Yeah, well.
So I have 4 lies for you guys.
Woo!
Okay.
As far as what we're talking about today, I think that'll become clear to you here. I did a little Michael and wrote like a first sentence that I have to get all the way through. So if you guys could just not talk, that'd be super awesome.
You could just shut the fuck up.
All right, everyone start.
Well, can we try recording this episode on a different day? I feel like being talkative today, and I don't want to be encumbered by, your agenda. I just want to do what I want to do. My mouth, my rights.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense coming from somebody without a uterus.
Indeed.
Bigger oof.
I do have ovaries, though.
Yeah, it's not uteri, it's uterus.
There is no we in uterus?
There's not gonna be, the way things keep going, that's for sure.
Will be when I'm done with them.
Anywho.
Why are you wearing that like a necklace? Well, it's a rather tasteful adornment, I feel, but... All right, see, I got it out of my system. Now you can talk. Congratulations.
All right, so they say that the first sentence in a book is what editors go off of on whether or not they're going to buy and publish.
Yeah.
So let's see if we're going to publish this episode.
Hook me, mommy.
25 years to life.
Immediately no.
I'm sorry. That was too far.
Mommy?
I'm sorry, mommy. I mean,
Mommy?
Sorry.
I hate all of you so much.
I'm sorry. Not as
Lemon
much as I
face,
hate
lion
me.
face. You're not right.
Come on, you went to school for this.
You're also not right, by the way, Michael. Just to let you know.
Definitely not in the head. Anyway,
That's
Courtney,
my
continue.
That's my, psychotherapist's opinion.
All right. So we know that we can always count on John to bescumber Michael's ideas, especially when he's being a Flopdoodle. But at least we know that Shane isn't a lick finger. And those, my friends, are Old English swear words. And today we're going to talk about the history of swearing.
I am. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I would publish this book. You have a deal.
In point of fact, though, I am a lick finger.
Are you, though? Because that's somebody who sucks up for positive attention, and we know that you don't want positive attention.
That was the first bullshit.
That actually is an insult to Shane, yeah.
I was going to say, I am on this show. I think that's almost evidence to the contrary.
That you are a lick finger.
I am indeed a lick finger, please.
And then
also, sorry, not to completely interrupt. I'll get this out of the way. So one of the harshest criticisms and most painful stabs, or quote unquote being seen, as John likes to say, from my younger years is my mentor when I was in high school had a little calendar on his desk that had Old English words for every day. And he gave me one that he said represented me perfectly. So if you want to have a snapshot of what an outside perspective was on me at 17, the word was fribbler. And it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. What does this mean? And as I'm reading it, it says, a man who professes rapture for a woman yet dreads her consent.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
Noop, noop.
Yeah, so there's some Old English for you.
Well, it looks like we have a lot of Old English ahead of us.
We're going to learn so many new words today.
You know I hate learning, but I want to learn now.
So I said that John bescumbers all over Michael's ideas. That just means just shit all over in Old English.
I'd bescumber the fuck out of that guy.
She's talking about my ideas, not myself.
Yeah, Jesus, John.
He bescumbers, then he bidets.
Now watch.
At least you're clean.
Nay.
Watch. Need.
Bidet day?
Yeah.
Bidet day.
I bidet in my bidet.
Bidet. Yes, indeed.
Ugh.
And I'm sorry, not sorry, Michael, but calling you a Flopdoodle is calling you a dumb person who makes bad choices.
Fits.
That's not bullshit.
I now pronounce you Flopdoodle and Trustfall.
That would be fitting. Flopdoodles and the Trustfalls.
Mr. and Mrs. Flopdoodle.
And somewhere in the background, someone yells Pickle Rick.
Because America.
It's so good. So it's generally recognized that there are 4 types of swear words. There's God, poop, sex, and slurs. As we know, there's one to represent each of us. I'll let you figure that out.
Boom.
I call poop.
No shit, John.
Exactly.
Pun intended, yes.
So the God-based swears are the first to pop up in history, and it may not be exactly what you expect. Some of us might yell out, Jesus Christ, when we're mildly inconvenienced, but that's not what I'm getting at here. Ye Old English speakers were much more creative and confounding when they started coming up with their own swear words. Essentially what they were doing was they were taking church language, smooshing it together, and using it outside of the church inappropriately. For example, you've probably heard the word gadzooks. Yes?
Yes, I have. It's an enchilada shop that's very tasty.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
It made my stomach so sick. We have not been back. But anyways, that is an exclamation that popped up around 1690. And it's a shortened version of yelling God's hooks.
Is that true?
That is true. Okay. I'm referring specifically to the nails on the cross.
Oh, I thought it was Pinhead. Damn it.
That would actually make more sense than hooks and nails being the same thing, but that's what it was. Some parishioners may have adopted snails, God's nails instead, because that at least is a little more sensical.
Aw, snails.
But if, nails and hooks aren't for you, consider yelling out zounds the next time you stub your toe, as that is God's wounds. So these were all like old English Jesus swears, and it was not great. And then for those who don't know, egad is just oh my god, but in
I was
Old
thinking
English.
about egads when you brought up gadzooks.
Yep. So basically they would they would change the O to an A, and then they would just smush that together with other words and make up nonsense.
You mean E? Egad starts with an E.
But the God portion
God.
of that, yeah, you're good.
For some reason, you bringing up this section reminds me of, I think, what is one of Shane and I's favorite moments in Hateful Eight. It's like, oh, you believe in Jesus now, huh? Well, you's abouts to meet him.
And I'm the racist.
Excuse me.
Indeed.
Oh boy.
So does gadfly translate to God's dick?
I'm not familiar, but if you wanted to.
Okay. That's my head canon from this point forward.
That's great. So we'll take it back even further, and this might be closer to like the first swear word. In the 14th century, the word damnare, which literally means to condemn or blame, was used a lot in reference to religion, because that's the whole thing, is to condemn and blame you so that you will follow their rules.
Right.
So that essentially becomes what we know as damn, and then you get phrases like goddamn, damn the weather, the usual suspects.
Hoover.
Never seen it.
And right now, when we're living in this time, God is damning us right now, so it feels very appropriate. Are
you lighting a bowl, or what the hell's happening
No,
here?
he lit a candle.
But
I thought the exact same thing too. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have a lighter up here, but I have these like really like weird matches. So yes, I'm doing drugs, Shane. I'm doing drugs on the show.
He's smoking the marijuana cigarettes.
I'm addicted to drugs.
Reefers.
Gadfly. Matches is also one of my favorite format songs. So well played.
I've never really listened.
Well, you're not emo, and it shows.
Not what you said on Sunday.
I know. I've changed my opinion.
He took away your e-card.
We're writing a new song, and we're going through the process. And like we're going through one section. What is it, like 10 seconds, if that? It's a transition. It's like 3 or 4 chords. And I wrote something. And Shane's like, yeah, I like that. It's really emo.
I believe I said that's emo as fuck, and I love it.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty high compliment.
It wasn't a high compliment. Except he was
but
sober. And so
he
was I.
rescinds it now.
How dare you bring up compliments in public, John?
I said
not anymore.
Anyway.
Last time I do that.
Egads.
Gadzooks.
Well, if you do, you're going to clean it up.
Aw.
So, damn eventually turned into dang around 1780 as a friendly replacement for the good old word. But the funny thing about that, and they talked a lot about this in the documentary that I'm going to talk about later, is how it usually takes, depending on the word, because we're going to talk about one that will probably never be polite, but usually about 50 years for us to adopt like a swear word into just normal vernacular. And so even though like dang has been around for as long as it has, like most people aren't offended by damn anymore.
That's very true.
So I thought that was really interesting.
Not to skip ahead, do you mention anywhere in your research the shit episode from South Park?
Not that one, no.
Okay.
That was kind of a seminal moment.
But I feel like that
television history, at least.
I feel like that's an example of what you're talking about.
They have, I'll just go ahead and tell you now, they have the first ever fuck on TV in 2004.
Interesting.
Which was a big deal because before that, you were not allowed to air that word.
Well, and again, I'm sorry if this is off topic or like tangentially off topic, but if I understand correctly, and I don't know if I talked about it on the show before, but I got into this rabbit hole of looking at the FCC. And so the story of it is that I was watching Mr. Robot on TNT, and while it was airing, and Mr. Robot, if you haven't watched it, one is a great show. But second, it's really tonally dark and it isn't edited. There's a lot of nudity and there's a lot of, swearing and like harsh language, but it's not edited. It showed, I think it aired at like 10 p.m. And if I remember when I started looking into it, the reason that they got away with it is because essentially you're allowed to air whatever you want. It's just that if enough complaints are filed to the FCC for the content, then you will be fined. So they're just being proactive by either censoring or doing edits, or like Comedy Central used to do. They do like the Midnight Vault is what it used to be when I was younger, where they would show mostly unedited versions of movies past midnight because the likelihood of somebody filing a complaint was less the later it got into the evening.
Yeah, it's a preventative or precautionary measure, which is very similar to something we're going to discuss at Fan Fusion, which is the comic book publishers code.
Okay, cool.
Which also, again, is like if you were not a code-approved comic, you were still going to get circulation, but you were afraid that you weren't going to get the widespread distribution you would have otherwise seen.
And this last thing I'll say, because I don't want to accidentally harp on it too much, but I feel like that's how you pressure cook cult classics.
I mean, certainly it makes folks far more intrigued by something if you ban it. If we've learned nothing from literature alone, it's like the second you say that something shouldn't be touched, that's where everybody goes. Forbidden fruit much?
I feel like if Human Centipede hadn't have been talked about in the way that it had been in that context, no one would have really watched it.
That's fair.
I mean, think of 50 Shades of Grey as well. I think that's also like one of those where it's 80% hype.
And the movie
or unless you're like horribly sheltered and have never seen a sex act or participated in one, suddenly it's the most titillating thing ever.
I would rather watch a live action My Immortal than ever even try to read or watch 50 Shades.
No question.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, the sort of individuals who would typically like espouse adoring either Twilight initially or 50 Shades are usually the sort of folks where I'm like, oh wow, your collar's going all the way up to your the middle of your neck there. Okay, I gotcha.
One of our
I say
Verity as well.
12-year-old me is very upset that you just dissed Twilight like that.
My mother read Twilight as well.
My mother wrote Twilight.
That explains everything.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, different context, I think. We're talking about things going down with that one.
Oh, we're not talking about... Oh, got it. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah,
back in the pile.
Oops.
But John, what you mentioned actually is really topical. I don't go into that too much, but something that comes up a lot within this research is definitely talking about censorship, specifically in lyrics, which Shane has talked about for us before. But having the explicit label when stuff can be aired is a big deal when it comes to swearing in media.
Yeah.
So the next category of swear words, which is John's beloved shit,
Tasty.
That I think this is probably the one that has my favorite and most interesting history, simply because it all revolves around indoor plumbing. So back in the day, before we had, private cozy little bathrooms with your squatty potty and your bidet.
Back when people had web knees.
Yeah. Basically, you could go and take your 7 closest friends and all pop a squat at the same time, and it was a social thing.
It still is, Courtney.
For some people, it still is.
Flashing back to John last night talking about his Sam's dad wanting to find the shit with the door open and talk about vagina.
And making beef jerky.
Yes.
Both good topics while on the toilet.
I guess I didn't realize that for guys. I feel like with girls, like we all go to the bathroom at the same time and it's really no big deal. But like, at least for my husband who's like fiercely private, he would absolutely not be going to the bathroom with anybody else.
Well, I've said it before. I am a nervous shitter. So if the temperature feels weird, or if I feel like someone might be around and I'm trying to shit, it doesn't happen. If I'm in a rush for my day, like my body, I'm very regular. Like I have a routine. So like I know like around like a cup and a half of coffee, I'm about ready to go. But if I'm in a rush, it's out the window. I can't take a shit. It's the worst thing in the world. It's been this way my entire life.
Oh my God.
I mean, you could take a shit despite the pressure.
I really can't. I've tried.
It no, depends.
For the modern,
for the modern old.
For the modern gentleman that wants to shit on the go. Depends.
I mean, can you shit in public? Depends. I think I have mentioned on this show, though, that I also have been afflicted with the public piss syndrome. But did I explain why?
Is it
did we ever talk about this?
The first
don't
time
think
I
so.
saw your massive hog, I was so distracted that I had to have it.
No.
And that's why he doesn't piss in public.
Speaking to that topic that I alluded to last week of incident reports that needed to be filed, I was standing at a urinal in the library I first started working at when a gentleman elected to stare at me while self-gratifying in the stall immediately abutting mine. At which point, it's the Dave Chappelle, like, come on, dog, you're hitting my elbows. Like,
I mean, it's kind of flattering,
bad
though, 'cause
time.
he probably came harder than he's ever in his entire life.
Yeah,
He's looking at you.
other than the fact that I was like, well, congratulations. Like, you might want to leave before the police get here, but if, regardless, they're getting your description because I work here.
And I have a photographic memory, bucko. You're fucked.
What's even funnier is that the person in question my boss was in love with, because he was a well-known indigent who had a very Michael-esque sort of coiffed do, and it was very delightful. But I used to refer to him as Rico Suave because he was so made up for someone who obviously didn't shower regularly.
Did you let this gentleman know that you were a Navy SEAL and you know how to kill people?
I did tell him that I was about to get nuclear on his ass, but what are you going to do?
And wipe the floor with his ass.
This tangent makes me have to ask you something because I've polled other people on this before. When you're pooping, do the pants go all the way down around the ankles or do you keep them around the knees?
To the ankles.
Around the knees? Who the fuck does that?
Ankles.
Is that like, are you worried that you might have to,
Like,
run
take
abruptly?
off? Yeah.
Combat crawl out of the bathroom?
Like, I figured this day would come, just like starts crawling out of the bathroom stall. Like,
wait. So whose ankles?
Well, me obviously, because I said who the fuck wears them around the knees.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go ankles
Courtney,
because
your knees?
also...
It's a woman thing.
I mean,
Fun fact.
Also, but like around the knees makes me like I have thigh cramps if I try to sit like that or do anything like that. It gives me
because it's
real
constricting.
bad. Or lower back issue.
Well, it's not
good.
around the thighs. It's like right around the kneecaps.
But even then, it's like a tension band around your legs, which
my
I
God.
have goddamn tree trunks, kid. Like
That's true.
this
We
is
do know that.
documented by our fan art. I got big thighs.
Well,
it
you
is
know
known.
what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. TikTok.
Just
There.
clip that
How
part
about
and then just
hashtag
the-
how do you poop?
How do you poop? Ankles or knees?
Ankles or knees?
Vote down below?
I've only had one person say that they do both ways depending on the situation. So around the knees if they're in public so their pants don't touch the floor because it's gross.
Reasonable.
That's fair.
But if they're home, they're like full on just take their pants off and like throw them in the other room.
Yeah, if I'm at home, I'm naked. I strip.
He just gets off of his couch, starts throwing his clothes off.
Time to take a
Becca's
shit.
like, oh, you're going to... Okay, all right, have fun.
Yeah.
It makes for really awkward moments when he gets home and Becky's got company. He just steps through the door and immediately just starts pulling things off. There's someone on the couch like, who's this naked man?
Oh, that's my husband. He's just
he
going to
doesn't
take a
even live
shit.
here.
Do you want to listen to his podcast?
halfway naked before I even enter the door, and there's an intervention on the other side.
I'm sorry, guys. I really got to take a shit. Oh, we know. We could see.
No, this would be that exact moment where I would be the one leading the charge. I'm like, see, this is why we have problems, John, because you don't think anything through.
Exactly
it's just impulse and response.
I think this is really funny
great.
because Shane and I were talking yesterday before the show about a scene in The Sopranos where one of the characters is talking. He's washing his hands. Like, didn't you just wash your hands? He's like, yeah, but I just tied my shoes. So like, I gotta wash my hands again. And they're like trying to rib him. And he's like, it's like, why do you think whenever your shoelaces are wet, like, why do you think they're wet? How do you think they get wet? He goes, it's disgusting. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You were talking about shit.
It's disgusting.
Or ye old shite, which was the word that was
shite.
used prior to we adopted shit. Like everything else, rich people ruined everything. They were like, we need private bathrooms and indoor plumbing, and you can't hang out with your friends while you poop anymore.
Goddamn bourgeoisie.
Eric Cartman did say that the bathroom is the last stand for American freedom.
Amen. And weirdly enough, like going to the bathroom solo is like way more sanitary. I don't know. But anyways, when it became fashionable to poop on your own, it became unfashionable to use the word shit. Like that is very much like the history of it. Yeah, I don't believe you about your solo bathroom time. I think you might do better with encouragement, John.
Go.
All right, Courtney, I'm going to call you the next time I have to take a shit. I'm just going to have you stare deep into my eyes as I just destroy the bathroom.
But then that'll interrupt your call with your mom that you usually do while you're on the toilet.
Do I call out to my mom when I poop?
You've mentioned that she has called you, and you tell her you're mid-deuce, and she's like, oh, okay, and just continues
for fuck's
talking.
sake, she wiped my ass, so yeah.
It's like, I know what goes on down there.
She's like, don't miss that one spot, John.
Yeah. It's like,
and that was last week.
There was always splashback on the left cheek. You're always so careless.
Now, though, as you describe the scene of Courtney, like being there as your support buddy when you're pooping, I'm just envisioning the theme of like 2001 as you start to crest. Dum 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 dum.
With the pug, we call that crowning. Like,
Prairie dogging, yes,
I'm
indeed.
crowning.
Would you birth coach me?
Hey, looks like you're ordering a Crown and Coke there.
I like that, like Courtney's line, like we can't talk about white, but the moment it gets to brown, she's all fine.
Well, she understands there's some things can't change
look,
about you.
everybody poops, John.
Yeah. Not
It's more
everybody
inclusive, okay?
makes white.
That's very fair.
Legal says we have to be inclusive, okay?
Fair. I respect legal's
Because we
opinion.
all know that the female orgasm is a lie made up by the Democrats as a way to empower women. So
It's a big orgasm. Trying to tell.
This goes all the way to the
Hallmark
clip.
card company. Yeah. Orgasms were invented to market Valentines.
yeah.
Also, Michael, prepare for another bleep because we're going to need it for this episode. But in regards to legal and equity, fuck you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I cannot wait to actually, for the first time in a few months, actually screen this episode.
Oh, Jesus. So we just got to throw a bunch of curse words and censors and stuff to get you interested. Got it.
Yeah, we're back, baby. We're back.
God damn it.
I love you. You know that. Just don't like your taste in.
I'm going to have to censor all that.
Yes.
Indeed.
Hope you didn't have a busy weekend, buddy.
Oh, yeah. This is also 10 pages long. Was that a good time to tell you that, Michael? And I don't want a
That's-
two-part.
that's-
I want it one.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
want
she
it
doesn't like
now.
number 2.
One part.
There is
Not
folklore
two.
surrounding where shit came from. We know historically that this is inaccurate.
I believeth the butt.
I also like tennis, though.
Indeed.
So some historians have noted a story that shit was an acronym for shipping high in transit. Because when you ship manure across the ocean, as you are to do, you want to keep it high on the boat so it doesn't catch fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Methane's a
Everyone knows
problem.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Common knowledge.
Mhm.
Spared no expense.
I think
Chilean sea bass, I believe.
shipping high in transit is also John's like morning routine, I think we could say. So
Shipping high in transit.
Okay, I do have to ask, is that bullshit, the shipping high in transit?
that's
Okay,
not.
cool. I had to make
You
sure.
haven't- You haven't watched the history of swear words, and it shows.
Oh, most certainly, yes. I have not.
Pedestrian.
Which is one of my main sources for this episode.
And
And-
Melissa adores that, which is so counterintuitive to her personality, but she adores
Yeah.
that show.
That's
It's
weird.
very funny.
Plus, it's Nicolas Cage. Come on.
Right. So I was
Is
actually
Nicolas Cage in that, Michael?
If it's one of his more recent ones, I don't know. I think
Michael, you
game's
know
gonna be
the
fun.
answer to this
It is going to be
because I
fun.
told you.
not the bees.
The
Anything but
bees.
Ah!
Sorry, Courtney. Go on.
No, so while I was researching this topic before I even knew that the history of swearing was a Netflix show, I was like, okay, my episode's ready. I was going to present last week, and then I found the docuseries. I go, Michael, I have to watch
Oh, you
this.
did tell me this.
And it's
Okay.
hosted by Nicolas Cage. I sent you.
Yeah,
a GIF.
you told me. It's all coming back now. Yeah.
Anywho,
I'm just upset they didn't ask me to be a talking head on that show.
I'm upset about that too, actually. Now that you mentioned it.
Yeah. With all
Yeah.
of the fame and notoriety that I have devoted to profane language.
You fucking practically invented that shit.
I know.
so actually, in that show during the episode on shit, they did a little blurb about Phineas Gage, which I thought was super interesting because we have episode 70, which Shane presented for us about him.
You'll never guess where I was inspired.
Really?
Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah.
Yes way.
I'm kidding. It's bullshit.
Okay. I was like, well,
You just
I'll
really
throw
heard
the
it.
next
Uh-huh.
4 or 5 paragraphs out then, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, good. You should have.
It's all ruined. Soiled
Just
it.
kidding.
Soiled it.
Do you want to give a brief description of what happened to poor Mr. Gage then for us, since you're the expert?
Well, he was planting some explosive, and it caused a very large hunk of metal to fly through his skull.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is really delightful. But he lived to tell the tale in a very profane manner.
You talked about that on an episode, didn't you?
He's catching up.
Waiter,
That was good,
check
John.
please.
That was great. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
He's suffering time dilation.
So the reason they bring him up in the show is because in his accident, he lost some of his verbal skills. But what we know about the brain is that with swearing, it functions in 2 parts. So it happens in your emotional part of your brain and also in your language part of your brain. So just because one is damaged does not mean the other one does not work anymore.
I'm a good case in point in that.
You see, one sense diminishes.
Was that your Nicolas Cage impression?
Yeah.
So for Phineas Gage specifically, like he would use swear words to like help him get through a sentence, and it also like helped that his humor was still intact because after the accident he was quoted as telling his doctor, "I'm a holy man now." So you would have to think that your sense of humor would be intact.
Is that bullshit?
Yeah.
Did he say that?
That was like one of the first
Okay.
things he said when he came to.
Okay. Is it?
I'm fairly
Are you
certain.
fucking with me?
No?
It's
That's
Harry
bullshit.
Potter, you jackass.
That's a lie from Shane's episode on Phineas
Oh,
Gage.
God damn it.
Gang,
Oh,
gang.
fuck me.
Fuck yourself, coward.
Can't. I'm too much of a bitch.
I knew I wouldn't get it past Shane, but I
Man.
thought it would be really funny to include an old lie in this episode.
That's good.
I can appreciate that.
That's good.
Also, it was less that I think they did say it was purely erratic behavior and not that he was making jokes.
Oh no, because at that point you've lost some of your ability to interpret situations.
Right.
And then you just do, like Michael does. They also say that like people who have had strokes or people who have stutters also tend to utilize swear words more often because that part of the brain functions much easier than just regular speech pattern.
Well, strangely enough, this is so bizarre. Like, we're not trying to make this a 4-hour episode, but
It's great.
I routinely tell this is that one of the reasons I use profanity as much as I do is that I had trouble relating to my peers when I was younger. So having an overdeveloped speech pattern and a love of language, I would constantly say things that would put people off. And so John has seen this happen where I will say a word that someone's completely unfamiliar with, and I get what I affectionately call the puppy dog head tilt of someone who is like, there's a TikTok for you. But so I figured out as I started cresting into my teens that most of my peers were just profane and use it almost as sort of fluid to help to liquidate all of their thoughts and get through. So this weird verbal lubricant that profanity is. So I was like, well, maybe I'll try this. And so every joke that I would tell immediately became funnier because you can say like, oh, well, I guess that pierced your head. No. And then it was like, well, I guess that pierced your fucking head. And then people would laugh. And it's almost like a reflex because you've done something that's taboo and it gets past the actual content filter where they're really not paying attention to what you're saying. And it's more of like, oh, he said a funny word. So like I felt it a lot more relatable to other people simply because I had to start whipping in things that made me seem more human, less dexterish.
Right. Language itself is just so fascinating, and I know that Shane has a deep love for it, and it looks like Courtney does as well, and Michael intimately
I
fucks
struggle
it.
to.
He fucks it on the regular.
Hell yeah.
But what you're saying, Shane, reminds me of something that Asher was talking to me about on Sunday or Saturday leading into Sunday, because Asher, as part of how his brain works and how it operates, like he feels like he also has a hard time relaying his ideas in not in an intelligent way, but like he just wants to read the social situations better.
In able to communicate better between his thoughts and everyone else's understanding,
Right,
because
because-
it's something that I deal with as well.
Yeah.
So I see where it's coming from.
So
Yeah, we know, Michael. You love language. It's just an abusive relationship.
why does it keep hitting me?
So the example that Asher gave me, because we were setting up for band practice. So Saturday night, I'm texting him, just kind of making sure that he's good to go. And he's talking about bringing in less of his gear. So he's like, I'm just going to bring in a kick, a snare, and maybe a hi-hat and some whatever. He's like, I'm trying to minimize that. And when he sat down in the room on Sunday, I was complimenting his setup because it was, I actually like the minimalistic approach. But he described it to me on Sunday as we were just about to get going. And it's that when he has less in front of him, it makes what he's trying to do more deliberate. And I feel like that's what Shane's saying as well. Like at a certain point, you just shorten it down or you add in more accessibility to what you're trying to say so that a broader group of people are going to connect to you or at least be able to understand what you're trying to convey.
Totally. And I think that's part of the reason that I find certain comedians who don't swear at all to be almost more entertaining because they have to try hard. They can't use language as a crutch for their jokes. Like it actually has to be genuinely funny.
That's why I fell in love with Shane Smith. He's the guy,
It's a good example.
the face tattoo guy. So he worked with Dry Bar Comedy for the longest time. And if I'm not mistaken, Dry Bar, I don't know if they're owned by Mormons, but I just assume since it's out of Utah that it is. But when he started going viral 3 or 4 years ago, I found the clip, and then that's what I found his podcast, and that's a whole other conversation about getting into podcasts. But I remember going from listening to his dry stand-up to going to his podcast and realizing that he was Gooby, or he was one of us, like where he is a filthy human being, and he's so fucking smart. But it was way more impressive to know that he could just flip a switch and go completely clean and still be absolutely hilarious.
One of my favorites, and he's got at least one or maybe two Netflix specials, is Nate Bargatze.
Yeah, that guy's great.
Very funny. I love his stand-up.
Logan loves him as well, yeah.
That's because he has taste. But anyways, one of my favorite things that I learned while researching all of this is that words of power, swearing, actually do make us stronger. Studies have shown that swearing while like in pain or like when doing hard labor actually increases our like tolerance by 5%, which is really cool.
Huh. I saw that somewhere too. I just don't know.
Well, she's also low selling this because in the show they actually demonstrate this by having people submerge their arms. Am I getting ahead of you?
You're good.
Okay, go for it.
Psychologist Richard Stevens is actually the one who originated that study. But exactly what Shane's saying, in the show they recreate it where the comedians all stick their hands in a bucket of ice, and one group gets to say a control word, and then the other group can swear. And in both the show and in the research, which was all done with grad students, because they felt like they could abuse them more than actually like having people come in to do the study.
It is known.
Stanford taught us anything, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That in some cases they could last almost twice as long with their hand in the bucket just from swearing. In some cases it was only 30 seconds, but that's still quite a long time.
Yeah. Fuck.
I thought about making you guys do it because I think that would be really great content. So
that
maybe
actually
in the
would
future,
be pretty fun content.
That would be tasty.
In the future.
If you want us to do that, leave a comment.
Shut the fuck up.
You just watched me torture myself for 3 hours last night. I don't think I need to continually do it, but
just like little plugs here and there. I think it's funny.
Indeed.
We also know that the part of the reason that we can hold our hand in the ice bucket longer is because swearing actually produces adrenaline. So when you stub your toe and you're like, fuck, and yeah.
Huh.
Which is really cool.
That's cool.
Of all the dopamine drops to get,
Okay, now I do have to ask, is it bullshit that it's adrenaline? Or is it like dopamine?
You already asked.
Well, I didn't officially ask.
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
I'll allow it.
Sustained. And we kind of already touched on this a little bit before, but specifically in terms of the word shit, that comes up a lot in rap lyrics. And that was one of the bigger ones that conservative groups went after to try to get censored in music. Of course, the most famous, most popular one that they don't like is fuck, but we'll get into that one next.
Ooh.
The episode on shit also talks about the difference between being shit and being the shit, and how that's kind of a newer turn of phrase that's becoming more popular. And I personally I think it's really funny that you can just put a the in front of anything, and that's like, oh, now it's fine. You want to be called that.
I'm the fuck.
Exactly.
Not just any old fuck. I am the fuck.
I'm the fuck commander.
Berserker.
Indeed. What's funny is just borrowing from linguistics in different circles, though. In professional wrestling, per se, they will commonly refer to things as the shits or the drizzling shits to say how abysmal something is. So in spite of the fact that the shit is more commonly used in a colloquial fashion these days as meaning something that is positive, it still originates from something that is a condemnatory phrase, which is funny.
Yeah.
Because it's commonly used as like, oh, how was our match? It's like, how was the shits? So
well, that's
strange how it morphs.
That's even different because when you think of the shits, at least in my opinion, I think of like diarrhea, like runny shits. So like then it almost goes like a full circle where it's shit, the shits. Now I just want to see if shits, the word just shits, is like some sort of compliment.
Only if you spell it with a Z.
That's true. I just thought shiz, so...
No, just shits.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretzel company,
Now it's
right?
hip, because it's from the 90s.
Yeah, that could be an eatery in a mall somewhere.
It's shids.
I went to Shits last night.
Very Midwest place. Yeah.
It's all mayo the whole time.
Eat shenanigans, enjoy your food.
Deep fried mayo.
Calvin works there.
Indeed. Come on, you stupid dick pee.
That is definitely it. Let's go ahead and just say it. If you've not watched the movie Waiting, I think it actually probably is aged fine. No, Courtney, you say no?
What?
Yeah, no. The penis showing game bit is a little
the balls. And
it's not even that. It's how
that
they
whole subplot.
Chastise each other when they lose.
Yeah.
It's entertaining enough, but it's definitely like very
I wouldn't
cringe.
tell a Gen Zer or a Zoomer, as I like to call them, I wouldn't tell them to watch it.
I mean, so what you're saying is, in this glorious post-Me Too movement, that we can't just, normalize sexual assault.
Yeah, I would say actually that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Give the Supreme Court a couple more years.
I was wanting to spark that with John's eyes for a second. So
yeah. All right. Well, fuck me for trying.
No, we're still on shit.
Well, don't mind if we do.
What I will say, though, is it's still one of my potent quotables. Like, there's a lot of very marvelous turns of phrase in that film. So whatever else I can condemn.
Yeah.
It's Michael approved.
It might be dated, but it can still be a good movie.
Kid tested, Michael approved.
Ew.
I think that's that exact phrase
I
is
don't either.
kid. It's kid testes. Michael approved. I think.
No, even worse.
God, no. He's gonna have such a hard time never getting a job.
So we've conquered God swears, shit. So naturally, the next one is sex. An obvious choice here is the F word. Fuck. So fuck can actually...
Sorry, the delivery of that was like, well, now here's the history of the F word. Fuck.
Fuck can be dated back to the 5th century, which blew my mind that this is a word that has been around for this long.
And we've had at least like 10 or 12
what language?
centuries, right?
Dutch, actually. So this comes from the Dutch verb meaning to fill.
Is that bullshit?
It is bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. I like that.
It's like we just finished with shit, though.
But now gonna fill it?
I also like that it was a lie.
We're gonna fuck it.
I like that it was a lie because Michael got so excited at the prospect of it being the truth.
I was too entertained by it.
I think Michael's head jumped to, it all traces back to the Dutch East Indies Trading Company.
Whoa.
This
That's
is the
not
tale
for
of
another,
Captain Jack
10
Sparrow.
centuries.
Yes.
I will say, though, since we're on the, my mindset is striking into what we're going to do at Fan Fusion, you are going to have to curb calling bullshit for lies. Just, since we're going to be out in the general public.
And shouting that and having those words frequently come out of a door.
Indeed.
Can
so
I
let's say... Let's do
ahead.
posse instead. I think that's still far more appropriate.
Do you want to get us red
back to posse?
paddles, like little red paddles?
I want to get us little red flags to wave.
Yeah!
Like the ponchos
like
flags?
I like
There's a Phoenix reference for you.
I think that's a worthwhile venture.
I'll make it happen. So that is obviously a lie. It does mean to strike in Dutch. So obviously, like, there's a little room for interpretation there. We also know that back in the day, people's last names, and this is true, they reflected what people did for work. So you might know a Smith who worked as a Smith, or a Fletcher. Back in the day, though it wasn't common, there was a man named John LaFucker. True story.
Yeah.
Damn near killed her.
Thank you.
And I also read about a Roger Fuck by the Navel. That was his last name.
Wait.
Was it all hyphens? Fuck,
No.
hyphen, by,
All one word. Fuck by the navel.
Bullshit.
Nope.
Oh, I guess if it's not Dutch, I was thinking it was like English.
It is Dutch.
I know. I was thinking it was English.
You usually
Like,
do.
oh, he's up, down by fuck by the Navelshire.
I just thought you'd call him belly fucker.
Easy there, look.
Well,
That's where he finishes.
So based on what we know, John LaFucker was most likely a brothel owner. And Roger Fuck by the Navel, so there's this great story that I read that he may have thought that the belly button was for different use. But anyways.
Can I call bullshit on the brothel owner?
Yes.
Okay.
You can. And
all right.
That lie kind of hinged on you guys not guessing that the Dutch word meant to fill, because, like, then going to brothel makes more sense.
Yeah.
Are you also going to talk about Gregory Fucker and the pussy?
Boo.
Can't say I've met him.
I heard they make quite an away team.
Oh.
Fuck. I don't understand what's going on.
Why is he Greg, though?
Yeah.
Gregory, please. He's proper.
He goes by Gregory, not Greg, damn it.
He's a proper pet. Good.
Oh, God. So both those lies were hinged on the fact that, like, you wouldn't get the first one. So let me explain a little bit better. So the Dutch verb does mean to strike. John LaFucker and Fuck by the Navel were probably fighters. That was what it was assumed, that they were either boxers or they did some kind of fighting, and that's how they got those last names. Not anything sexual, unfortunately, guys.
Boo.
Dummy.
Because he fucks them up.
In the 14th century, more folklore popped up, and I think hearing about the folklore was my favorite part. And this is maybe one of the ways that fuck became a sexual connotation, is that in the 14th century, you would have to have a declaration from the king to be allowed to have sex. So that would have been fornication under consent of the king.
Because the prima nocta was still a thing.
Yep.
Wow. I haven't even thought about that until you just said it. You know, those things that you learn and then you just like file away in the back rooms of your mind, if you will. You
just had that moment where I did the same thing. So there's a Van Halen album that's called For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
Yeah.
And I was making a mixtape and I didn't want to write the whole title out, so that I'm like, okay, well,
yeah.
I was like 10 at the time, and I was just completely aghast that I was going to be chastised for having done that. So,
I mean, If You See Gamey is another great reference to that. Britney Spears has one like that too. So that might have been where fuck started to get its sexual connotation. There was a lot of different possible origin words. So the Dutch one is one of the ones that is considered by historians, but there were also like 3 others from different languages. So you could kind of really deep dive that and get crazy, but I decided that I didn't feel like it.
Fair.
Fuck is the most used and most censored word in movies and media. And it's actually a big reason why the rating system went into place for movies. And fun fact, only for Michael, 71% of the swear words uttered by Nicolas Cage is the word fuck.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You're delighted to sort of like, casting your eyes skyward there.
Yeah, I was thinking from like Con Air. I was thinking from Face Off, which there is going to be a sequel that I've recently heard about.
You're joking.
The Unbearable Weight of Unspeakable Talent. I think the one that just recently came out.
Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
He told us that in the group chat, John.
Yes.
It's hard to keep track.
Okay, well, you're 3 down. Name 2 more Nicolas Cage movies.
I think
National Treasure 1 and National Treasure 2.
No.
Boom.
Mandy, which is another one I need to see. Oh God. Wally World, I think, is also another one that came out recently that I also need to see.
It's actually not a fair game because Nicolas Cage has been in so many things lately that Michael doesn't even need to try. So, like, I think you have to name 5 Nicolas Cage movies that you've seen.
I was like, and in all of this, he still hasn't. Okay, well then I'm not going to give you a leg up.
Wicker Man, obviously.
Okay, I was going to say you still haven't mentioned Wicker Man yet.
I think I saw The Rock a long time ago, but I can't remember.
I need to rewatch that. I liked it back when I saw it.
Welcome to The Rock.
Winners get to go home and
let's
fuck
see.
the
I mean,
prom
I have
queen.
seen Con Air. So since you started over again with Wicker Man, John, because I see you're only showing 2 fingers there. So Con Air.
Have you not seen Face Off?
I have seen Face Off. That was going to be my next one.
All right.
My favorite part was every time I go into the San Diego Convention Center, I always picture the opening scene from that movie where he is dressed up as a priest and he
grabbing people's
manhandles
asses.
someone and then goes. Yeah. It just does the giant O face. So, Let's see. I have seen National Treasure, so I have seen Ghost Rider.
Oh, you poor soul.
Yeah.
Did you watch Ghost Rider 2?
I don't remember.
Okay, well then
either I repressed that knowledge or I haven't.
I mean, you're alive, so I mean, technically, I could assume you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So there you go, John.
Thanks.
Well, another origin phrase for me that I frequently use that no one ever catches. So, Michael, for you, I say that he got a tab of bad quantrax, which is referring to it's Castor referring to, or Pollux Castor referring to Pollux. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like he got a tab of bad quantrax or something. Okay, cool.
That's why you should watch Con Air. It's beautiful. He tries to affect a Southern accent, and
I've seen Con Air.
No, absolutely not.
I think Con Air. Yeah. Anyway, let's.
Were you about to besmirch the great work that is Con Air?
We were talking shit about fuck.
Yeah, that's right.
I always want to talk about Nicolas Cage. Anyway, talk about fucking.
You need to watch this whole docuseries, Michael. It'll bring you so much joy.
It's great.
And it's like an hour and a half all in. These are 20-minute episodes. Yeah.
Okay.
And in the fuck episode, they put out a list of the top 5 most sweariest actors in movies.
Can I take a guess?
And it's funny. Huh?
Oh, sorry. Can I take a guess on one of the top?
Yes. Please.
Samuel Jackson.
Obviously.
I read an article that he was actually very disappointed to find out he was not the #1 most sweary actor.
What the fuck?
He comes in at number 3, having uttered 301 swear words in all of his movies.
Okay.
In the 5th spot, we have Al Pacino with 255.
Nice.
Adam Sandler in 4th with 295. Obviously, we had Samuel L. Jackson in 3rd. Number 2 really surprised me, but I also have never seen one movie from this person. Leonardo DiCaprio has 361.
Wait, are you saying you've never watched a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio in it?
I've seen Titanic, that's it.
Are you?
Damn.
Is that bullshit?
Maybe he's in something else and I didn't realize it, but
that's a fair point.
Thousands of hours of movies that we can watch together now.
I was like, and you haven't seen Catch Me If You Can?
You know what? That is a movie that Becky insisted that we watch together. Like, and if she is recommending that I watch a movie, I take it very seriously because she seldom recommends a movie. And it was during lockdown. That movie was so fucking good. I can't believe I slept on it for so long.
I never watched it.
Well, allow me to recommend that you do because it was so fun to watch.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
he's very chameleonic in it, is what I hear. So it's the reason I mention it. But I mean, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Come on.
No.
Basketball Diaries?
No.
Romeo and Juliet?
No.
Yes. I have seen that one.
Michael.
It was like a 80s, 90s reimagining of Romeo and Juliet. It was corny as shit, but I loved it all the same.
It's great. Baz Luhrmann. Gatsby? Also Baz Luhrmann?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I have seen that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, Courtney, you got some education in your future.
I got some homework
I called
to do.
on watching Wolf of Wall Street with you, as well as
Departed.
Oh, Jesus. Yes. Fuck. Departed and
Shutter Island.
I haven't watched that in a long time.
All the Scorsese. Oh, you got to check out Shutter Island.
The other one I'd love to watch with all of you is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love that.
Oh, no question.
Anyway,
okay.
Continue.
Just start a list, John.
I would love to.
So the number one most swearing actor in all the movies is Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill is at 376.
Is that bullshit?
Nope.
Wow.
I feel like the two of them got there purely for Wolf of Wall Street alone.
Is that
so 100? Yes, 107 of Jonah Hill's are in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep.
Damn.
That film is just ridden with it.
And you might also be surprised to find out that it actually beats out Pulp Fiction as the most swearing in any movie.
Whoa.
Yeah, not shocking.
715 total.
I wonder when that was published because I think Uncut Gems would give it a run. Would give it a run for its money. Yeah, because I mean,
why did you have to reintroduce that into my brain?
I think that's one of the reasons why Adam Sandler's in it. Like why he's number four.
That's a really good point. Yeah, because he's in a lot of PG-13 movies, but the list of R-rated movies he's been in is really small. I think you got the ones that I can think of immediately are just Punch Drunk Love and Uncut Gems.
And yet you don't think that Billy Madison is just a tour de force performance often quoted by very intelligent individuals.
I'm not a smart man. It's
callback.
Been said. It is a callback. We'll see if it's 60% of a callback.
Don't call it a callback.
I've been at this for an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Yours rhymed. I'm more impressed.
So yeah, those are our most swearing actors in Hollywood.
Fabulous.
The Samuel L. Jackson article, I didn't use it as research, but I did link it. So if anybody wants to read the article of him being kind of upset that he was number 3 on the list, it is in there for you.
John, I think you swears.
I think you just incepted her with that accent because she just said research.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems and research.
Well, what is a muse?
I don't want to speak on it before it's released, but
I was doing my research for Uncut Gems.
Guys, I was actually a Valley girl back in the day, so let's not.
Were you actually?
What?
Were you actually though? Did you coach the accent out of yourself?
I mean, she was from Phoenix, yeah. The Valley.
From one to another. Yep. So
Are you talking about vagina?
You changed your accents, didn't you? You had different accents depending on where you were, didn't you?
You lace curtain Irish fuck.
Yeah.
All right, so we now move on to the 4th category, which is slurs.
I'm going to abstain from being involved in this just for
really
everyone's
smart.
sanity.
That's probably a good choice.
I think he just left the meeting.
Yeah, he's
gone.
His mic has been muted.
His camera's off?
No, my mic's still talking, so...
Hey.
I think it's fair to say that slurs are the nastiest of the swears. Like, they're generally coming out of critique towards somebody's gender, towards somebody's race, towards somebody's sexual orientation. And they're just, like, the most unkind. Even though you could argue that you could use any of the other categories of swears to insult someone, these are the ones that are going to sting the most. Lost my place.
Like your liquid death there, Michael. I had an O face for a second. I was like, oh yeah. It's one of my faves.
What flavor is that one?
This
Limey.
is severed lime.
John has admitted to me that he only likes lime if it's bougie.
I did talk about that yesterday.
I mean, this is bottled at source in Frankenmarkter, Austria.
Ooh, fuck, that's bougie.
That's pretty bougie.
Ooh, fuck me, that's bougie.
It's bougier than uncut jams.
Uncut jams.
And then I also had a mango chainsaw earlier today. So sponsor us, Liquid Death.
And my
please.
tiny nipples went to France.
And then went next door to Austria to get more Liquid Death.
And then went back to France and said, "Hey!"
Okay.
I just want to get sponsored by Liquid Death.
Oh, no. All right. So, one word that may not even cross your mind as a slur is the word bitch. And its troubled history. I think a lot of us kind of throw that around as just like, oh, this bitch over here. Like, when I see my sister, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's these bitches again. Like, that's just very... I think it's really, like, incepted its way into our vernacular, but maybe not a great idea.
Well, you love dogs.
Yeah, because that's one definition. And then, I mean, people even use it as a greeting. They're like, sup, bitch. So...
That's what my sister and I call each other.
Yeah.
That's actually true. What's up, bitch?
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah,
tell
but
me,
there are
tell
also
me why I'm insensitive.
other things.
Hmm?
There are other, words commonly used as a greeting between other individuals that you probably shouldn't say as well.
Exactly.
That's also very fair.
Oof.
Yeah.
So obviously, in this group, it's common knowledge that bitch comes from biche, which is a French word meaning female dog. But specifically, it's referring to a female dog who's in heat. And that's where the problems start.
Oh, no.
So
is she presenting?
She actually is presenting.
Her ass is red and engorged.
Oh my God.
And there's 43% Michael.
It's mostly because she started Uncut Jams.
You know that's going to be a supercut, right? Okay.
Uncut Jams.
She does have a marvelous posterior, though. I'll go on the record.
I don't think it's
Okay.
real. I think those are implants.
I think it was CGI.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not his real ass.
I can't believe it's not butt hair.
Oh!
So female dog in heat. And then, of course, the men of the time really held women in such high regard that they began using the term to describe women who were deemed uncontrollable, who wanted sex too much, or were just considered people who behaved badly. Which I'm like, I read this to Jonah, and he goes, if you did all those things, I would never call you a bitch. That would be my dream. And I'm like, so you want me to be a nightmare? Okay. All right. I can do that.
Bless this mess.
And then he was like, just the sex part, actually. And I was like, yeah, okay.
I don't know why that hit.
I don't know why it hit you either.
Because apparently that is a cross stitch or a little needlework that hangs above the doorway in several people's homes here.
Yeah, probably. Mentally. It's in my instinct.
Well,
So-
yeah.
Oh, I see. So if you sprinkle when you tinkle, please be neat and wipe the seat.
Please.
Please don't do drugs in my bathroom.
He doesn't
Please.
have a good bathroom to do drugs in. So why couldn't we get a fucking reservation at Dorsia?
Hey, Shane. Are getting a reservation at Dorsia now, you bastard. Sorry, Courtney. You were talking about
you're good.
Some bitches.
So obviously it was meant to be disparaging, disempowering, and malicious. Gross. Jonathan.
Oh man, it's real now.
Malicious and delicious.
Bless this mass.
Bless this moss. You did this. It's your fucking fault. I take no blame. Can't take it back.
You can't put it back in the box.
Why couldn't they put the bunny back in the box?
Put the bunny back in the box.
Just saying you can't put the bitch back in a bottle.
Oh no. Okay, sorry, Courtney, you were saying.
So bitch is the most commonly used gendered insult, according to the bitch episode of the history of swearing. I hate this freaking document. It's broken.
All that you're programmed to do.
No, Google lost the rest of her document.
In there.
I personally don't know very many men that really enjoy being called a little bitch, let alone any women that prefer to be called that by a man, and which makes this an insult that is really far-reaching in that sense. Like, very few things get everybody triggered, and bitch, depending on the person and the context, can be one of them. But maybe not surprisingly, the LGBTQ plus community, specifically in my experience, the gays love to say, bitch, please. That's just a fact.
Roll off the tongue.
It's great. It's super fun. And their community, specifically the LGBTQ plus community, is kind of known for trying to reclaim words. Obviously, I don't feel comfortable repeating some of the ones that were mentioned in some of my research. But that is kind of something that they use as an empowerment, which is kind of cool. As far as reclaiming the word bitch, there's one really great example that they bring up in the show. Is anybody familiar with the singer Lucille Bogan?
No. I'm not, at least.
So, okay.
Only by reputation.
Only by reputation.
If you guys would like to, I think if we did an after dark of you guys reacting to the song that she wrote, that is an empowerment song. It's called Till the Cows Come Home. And when I tell you I have never heard anything like it, guys, this song is doing something.
And this is from the person who brought us Daddy Like.
Your reputation is impeccable.
That was a Jonah pick, but all right.
That you were still the vessel by which it was brought to us.
I don't feel bad about it. In the show, they also mention 3 women, past and present, that kind of fit the bitch stereotype. Specifically, Nefertiti, for deeming that women should be treated equal, that they were considered sacred. This one, like, the amount of references to our old episodes just like blew my mind. But they talked about Elizabeth Bathory and how she was considered a bitch. So go back and listen to Shane's episode on Elizabeth Bathory, because I think that's amazing.
Was it? I mean, it was amazing, but was it actually referenced?
True story.
Like, damn.
Yes, I did make an amazing episode.
You were like, tell me how you really,
tell
me how you really feel, you fuck.
Episode 115 to be specific.
Mm-hmm. But to your point, John saying whether she was actually alluded to as a bitch.
Right. That's my question.
Yeah.
Indeed. Wow.
And then the last example they give is Taylor Swift for wanting control over her music.
That's interesting.
No Dolly Parton in here. Terrible.
No.
A disturbing lack of Dolly Parton.
And she is the boss bee.
Was it Taylor Swift?
It wasn't Taylor Swift, no. They don't mention her at all. They mention editor of Vogue, Anna Wintour, as being a known bitch. So you guys got all my lies this time. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but you guys got all 4.
Technically, if you count 2 of my lies as 1, that was last week. Because we had a whole conversation about that.
She said her lies, Michael.
Oh,
Did you just Sam yourself here?
Are you gaslighting her?
I just think that we should, go
All
to
be
a
about
different
you?
day. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Michael, when a woman does something for the first time, it's still considered history.
Yes, it is.
By that, do you mean achieve orgasm?
No, that's a myth.
That hasn't happened yet.
About this.
Just not doing it right.
Didn't like it.
How do I work this thing? I can't figure out where the feelers go.
So again, the show brings up music, and I think music is such an interesting hallmark for kind of seeing, obviously, culture shifts, but language shifts specifically, because we have, in 1934 is when Lucille Bogan's song comes out. She uses almost like every word in the book in that song, which is just absolutely crazy. And then obviously we move into like in the late 70s, early 80s, like rap music. Bitch is thrown around a lot, but it's usually used as a demeaning thing, usually referring to women as sex objects. And then in current music, you have artists like Lizzo, who is throwing around 100% that bitch, which again, the shit, that bitch, like you just need one extra word and that totally changes the connotation.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
One of my favorite quotes, as far as bitch is concerned, is from actor Bette Davis, which is, when a man gives his opinion, he's a man. But when a man
When a man loves a woman.
Fucking hell. When a woman gives her opinion, she's a bitch. Something that if you've ever worked, like, for example, I've worked a lot in a male-dominated industry, that is very much still true to this day. A lot of people still hold that belief. But kind of like what I mentioned before, like most people, I think at this point, are fairly comfortable with the word just because it's really lost a lot of its malicious intent. But I think that's a lot to put on. So there's like back and forth on it. Like some feminists are like super into like reclaiming it, blah, blah, blah. Some people are super offended by it still. So definitely talk to people about their preferences for that. I thought, I personally had never put much thought into people using the word bitch. And then after doing all the research, I was like, am I offended? And then I wasn't, but you could be.
Yeah.
It turns out that you are 100%
the bitch.
Michael Clark.
No, Michael.
Man, there's so much TikTok fodder here tonight. It's really just blooming right in front of us.
I made it bad. I'm sorry.
You've called me so many things in this one episode, Michael, that I don't know if I can forgive you.
Now kiss.
I wouldn't.
And,
fuck that guy.
No, thank you. That's my episode on a brief history of swearing.
What a journey. I think that the real journey was the fucks that we found along the way.
Agreed.
That was fun,
yeah.
Courtney. Thank you.
It was delightful. Thank you.
I think that's actually exactly what my heart needed today. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Which is a myth.
Exactly. So actually, I don't want your praise. Fuck off.
Indeed.
Yeah, you fucking lick finger looking ass, having ass, bitch.
Have an ass?
Was it finger licker? What was it? I said it right.
It's a lick finger. You got it right the first time. But my favorite one is still Flopdoodle. Like, that's such a fun word to say.
Even better, we have lickspittle, which is one that I think I will toss at John going forward. So it's a good time.
Accepted and graciously lapped.
Indeed. And if you want to get mythical with us as well, you can again remember to meet us at the end of May at Phoenix Fan Fusion, because that's a delightful time. We have got links in our link tree for you to go and grab tickets, so be sure that you do that before they're gone. Get them while the getting's good. Hot tamales and they're red hot. But also, if you two are enjoying this show, you can show us your enthusiasm by, like, subscribe, rate, review. We would love to hear from you. Any way that you can express your adoration for us, unless, it's a difficult to interpret Facebook post, maybe. Maybe we don't want that.
Roast our fans.
I mean, if it's ambiguous, we're not entirely sure how we
You
take
haven't fucked me hard enough to roast me like that.
Just spit
Yep.
Michael!
He is a salty little slut today.
I have no idea what's wrong with me.
It is the lick spittle spit roast, as it were.
I think I got it. Are you sober?
Not really.
Absolutely not. Look at him. Look at the gleam in his eye. He feels alive. That's different than normal.
The red herring.
This is called hope.
You were drinking liquid death. I was like, oh, buddy's trying to self-improve.
No, he's sobering up.
But hey, by the way, while we were recording, I did order 2 12-packs of liquid death because of you. So I hope the severed lime is good, because I know that I like the sparkling.
I adore the liquid death, and I got Michael going on this, so I'm happy to perpetuate this.
Well, in which case, yes, sponsor us, liquid death.
Yeah, no, I rave about the damn thing. It has completely turned me around. I'm ready for death now.
I mean, I usually am.
Indeed.
Nice. Oh, also, real quick, super fan Steven has watched Midnight Mass, and it makes me very, very happy. And he was reaching out and letting me know. I think he binged it in 2 sittings.
Yes.
And it was amazing and adorable to get these updates. Like, I'm in my office, like nodding off in my chair, almost ready for bed, and my phone's buzzing, and with like spoiler updates. And for the first time, I felt like Shane to me. Like when I watch things for the first time and I'm texting Shane, like I've been texting Shane about reading the Batman comics recently. And I know there are things that Shane is like, I probably shouldn't say this because it might give away the mystery. But I feel like it leads into Fan Fusion a little bit, because Midnight Mass is a very Stephen King feeling piece of art. So, and that's what Shane's holding up his shirt. He's wearing a Salem's Lot shirt today. And that is what Stephen mentioned as well. When I said that to him, I was like, it's very, very Stephen King. And first response was Salem's Lot adjacent. So,
yep,
I'm glad you dug it. And I, again, recommend that everyone, especially if you were raised in a religious household, you should check that show out.
It's interesting that you bring that up as well, because when Stephen was telling me, I had to disabuse him of, I was like, yeah, I watched 15 minutes of it and I turned it off.
I recommend you finish it.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those, I had to explain that, again, I'm a hard person to sell on anything because I'm so naturally disinclined to watch things in general. And then if it's something that I know someone's going to anticipate my response. Now, John is one of the least of the offenders in this, so I'm not casting aspersions here. Yeah, no. But I've had other people who are very insistent on me watching things and then get upset when I don't, or try to watch me have reactions. But I tried to watch it. I just don't think my headspace was right. So it's not that I thought it was of poor quality. It was just one of those.
Not going anywhere.
I got to the point where they were in the kitchen having the telephone call in episode 1. So I mean, it's barely toe in the water, and I was I'm not in the mood for this. I'll come back to it. So
yeah, I think you'll have a fun time with it when you're ready.
Yeah, because I love both Salem's Lot and Jerusalem's Lot, the prequel, which they've also made a show about.
Jerusalem's
so
recent,
it's
right?
called. I'm forgetting what it's called presently because they changed it. But it's something. It's like Whitechapel or something similar, or Chapel House. I think it's Chapel House. It's an Adrian Brody vehicle, or Chapel White. That's what it is. Sorry. My brain is all over the place. But it is the prequel story about the house itself and how the town starts to become corrupted. And strangely enough, here's a little tease for Fan Fusion as well, since I'm still in my research mode. That is one of the places that the True Knot lists as their safe space.
No shit.
Yeah, at the beginning of Dr. Sleep, they allude to there are multiple places, including a little town in Colorado. But they also hint at the fact that Jerusalem's lot is one of their places.
Huh. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, given that it's connected. I can't do that right now. Never mind.
Yep. Well, this is one of the reasons why I talk about, John asked me the other day, this is kind of like editorializing housekeeping, but also like I want to get people invested in actually coming to see us. Part of the fun of this is John saying, like, is it a secret what we're going to talk about? It's like, no, there are, no, but I'm not busting balls. But I'm subtly busting balls, but not intentionally.
Now.
Considering it's at 15 pages or something like that recently, yeah.
But like, there's such enthusiasm that I feel like I encourage everybody to get off topic, as long as there's purposeful discussion and things like this that happen, because ultimately we're all fans, right? And that's part of the joy of this event, is it's people sharing their enthusiasm for things that they love. And when we have those moments, John refers to them as like Michael's puppy dog moments, where you get something that he's like organically passionate about just in situ and you stumble across it. Like that natural vibe of like, ooh, this is why I love this and it's really cool. All that interconnectivity kind of flows in. Really fun, something I absolutely adore. And so something that I anticipate being very prevalent when we start talking about King, because God knows, I think we can all just go off on tangents, as I have simply illustrated.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, I mean, if this episode isn't a case in point, like I don't know what else to prove.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of very interesting theories that we intertwine there, a lot of stuff that gets, brought to bear or just brought out to light, and things that I hadn't really thought about that interconnect all of our topics, which, until you really get into it, you don't think these three disparate stories have threads that sort of string throughout, but they do. So
yeah, I'm excited.
Fantastic.
As far as the prep that I've been working on, I was a little later to the game because I did admittedly get distracted by the Dune saga, and I'm still slowly going to pluck through that, but I think I'm halfway through The Shining right now, and I just started Outsider today with a roadmap goal to finish it by that panel. Man, I was thinking about it on my drive. I went and hung out with Logan a little earlier today, and when I got into the car, the audiobook just naturally just pushed to the Bluetooth, and I was like, how many fucking times have I read The Shining now? And I think it's probably upwards of like 5 or 6 times now, which to Shane is rookie numbers. But I think it's probably one of my most reread books. And every single time something different strikes me. So I'm really excited to be around people that want to nerd out about it and to get different perspectives like you're saying. Because I'm realizing, I think that's it. Obviously, just looking at the number, it statistically, it's one of my favorite books.
Absolutely, and it gives us another opportunity to it gives us more opportunity to heap praise on Flanagan in particular, because I mean we have an episode in the backlog here where we were talking about Dr. Sleep, but I feel that natural sort of enthusiasm we all had walking out of the theater. Sorry, Courtney, but we were a trio at the time. But the three of us walking out of having seen that were so sort of blown away by how seamlessly it integrates both the book and the film for The Shining, and then both, the book and the concept of the Kubrickian Shining to make it a seamless film, and pulls some of the best parts from all involved material to make that movie, which is so brilliant. So I have to give him a lot of credit for anything else that I might have, a different perspective on. Dr. Sleep is a tour de force purely because of all of the high wires it has to balance in order order to get to being made.
And if we have time as a collective before, or preferably before Fan Fusion, I know that Courtney has a little secret, and that I'm outing you. She's never watched The Shining or Doctor Sleep, so
I'm not shocked.
If we have time, I think it'd be fun maybe to watch both or one or the other in the same room. I'm going to volunteer Logan's house. I say that we all go dogpile into Logan's house and we do a double feature and watch The Shining and Doctor Sleep sometime soon.
Well, our segue back in is, again, we're all excited for Fan Fusion, and we're super thrilled that we're going to have an opportunity to just get further into King, which is something that we're all grand devotees of. And for Courtney's first time, I'm not shocked because I don't think you would have either read those books necessarily unless under duress. Like you're being forced to do this. So you were voluntold that you were going to encounter these things. So same general principle with viewing them as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I specifically The Shining, because that book like really hit me pretty hard. Like I was like, oh, like I really liked this. So I'm excited to see the movie, and I'm excited to talk about it more.
Yeah, it's something that we're going to have a wealth of, because I almost can't help myself, because I was one of those who, being like a horror kid from way back and dyed in the wool, like growing into an adoration of horror films, one of the seminal moments for me was seeing The Shining for the first time. And it's hard not to draw that parallel for a lot of other people.
For sure.
So I look forward to that discussion immensely, as should all of you. But we're going to leave you with a little bit of anticipation at the end of this episode, and not just fling the whole thing out, just like, a suck finger here or anything. But
you can't get it for free. You have to pay to see it.
Gotta work for it.
This is our longest episode in a while.
Depending on how much we edit, that might not be true.
Okay, well, we'll see if that holds up.
Well, I'm at about 3 hours right now, so we'll see how it turns out.
So it'll be a 45-minute episode.
It's a very meaty beef curtain, 3 hours. Yeah.
Did you say beef curtain?
I sure did.
Okay.
I heard meat curtain, so yeah.
I said a meaty beef curtain of 3 hours. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's the new offering from our favorite restaurant, Taco Bell, debuting next week. Get the brand new meaty beef curtain with more sauce.
Shane does have meats.
Indeed. Crunch tata me, daddy. All right. I think that is going to officially wrap this thing up like a crusty chalupa shell. So for this glorious, disturbing, and of course profane edition of the Disinformed podcast, I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
Stay tuned for the After Dark, friends. Check us out on Wednesdays, of course. You need to do that. Just a polite reminder for everybody. And by the way, I'm curious, but Michael, where are we going?
Going straight to the moon?
Diamond Hands.
Oh, Diamond Hands straight to the moon.
Indeed. No.
I
just wanted you to say the line.
It was your cue, buddy.
You said, where are we going? I thought you were genuinely asking a question. Anyway, ignoring that, zippity zoop, we're out of here.
I love you guys. I really do.